We've got some more news about the upcoming NCAA football game from EA Sports. Now, I know a lot of people are really excited about the return of this game, and we've been covering it on this channel since it was announced about 2 or so years ago. And while it has taken some time to get here, we're starting to get pretty close. It's coming out summer of 2024, which means it's about 6 to 7 months away. And I know with it taking so long, still a lot of people think that the game isn't real or it's not happening, and I've talked about it a ton on this channel, but EA has reiterated time and time again that they are on schedule, that the game is close, and they've already given us a little bit of info about it. But along with that have been a ton of leaks about this game that have not come from EA Sports, but have come from Matt Brown and some other sources. Now, Matt Brown has sources inside of EA, but he also has gotten a lot of info directly from the colleges, and he gets his information via the open records request, because the emails that these colleges are sending back and forth with EA for things that they're helping them put in the game, if you request these records, some of these schools will actually send you the records because they are public information technically. And over the last couple of years, Matt Brown has been getting a ton of information from these schools, and a good bit of it has already even been confirmed by EA when they have spoken briefly about the game, so we know that the things he's been telling us are pretty spot on. Well, over the past few weeks, he's been dropping more information on his Twitter and on his website, and today we're going to go over some of the other information that he's given us. It's kind of a smaller update as opposed to some of the bigger leaks that we've gotten, but all information is good information. And if you never want to miss out on any of the important updates surrounding this game, make sure you're subscribed with the bell icon on. That way you never miss any of these important videos when they drop. And at some point, we're going to be getting gameplay trailers. We're going to be getting actual gameplay footage as we get closer to the release, and you do not want to miss those videos. Now, just the other day on Twitter, Matt Brown was answering some questions, and somebody asked him, when should we expect EA to speak on the game? Because EA has really only spoken on the game very briefly. They've told us a few good things about the game, but they haven't really gone into actual marketing mode yet for the game, and we're kind of waiting for them to release that first really big thing, because a lot of people really need to see that before they, for whatever reason, believe the game's coming out. But also, those of us that know it's coming out, we still want to kind of get hyped. And Matt Brown said, I think there's a good chance we get something official before the end of the national championship game, but I am begging the internet to keep your expectations modest. There isn't going to be a gameplay trailer for a while. That's how sports games are. And now Matt Brown has been saying this for some time, that he is pretty sure that we're going to see something during the national championship game. And honestly, that just makes sense. For a game that's been gone for over a decade and you're trying to create this hype for it coming back, there's really no better time than to drop your first official whatever it is regarding this game during the national championship, when the most eyes of college football fans are going to be on that game. And he's saying to keep your expectations modest, because yes, we're not going to get some full-blown gameplay trailer in a few weeks for the national championship game. That's just not going to happen. That's not how sports games are. You're not going to get a full gameplay trailer for this game until about a month, maybe if you're lucky, a couple months before it comes out. Usually when Madden comes out, we get the first gameplay trailer about 6 to 8 weeks before the game comes out, and then we get a more in-depth gameplay trailer, some weeks later. So don't expect some full gameplay trailer in a few weeks in January, but what we're probably going to get is maybe a teaser trailer. We're going to maybe get a cover athlete, the cover of the game, or it might just simply be an official release date. That really might be all they have to do, is drop a small teaser with an actual release date. We know it's going to be in the summer, most likely July, because NCAA games always dropped in July, but we don't have an actual date. And if they just actually drop an actual date, people are going to get pretty excited, but we should definitely be seeing something in a few weeks. And in the months to follow, we're going to be getting a ton of leaks and a ton of official news from EA as we get closer to the game, which will be pretty exciting. Hold up, stop right there. If you like money and you know sports, then you've got to be on Underdog Fantasy. Their Pick'em game allows you to choose from a wide variety of player stats, and all you simply have to do is pick higher or lower, and if you know sports at all, this really isn't that hard, and if they hit, you win money. And the best part about Underdog Fantasy is if you sign up using my promo code RAY, R-A-Y, they're going to give you a free play at sign up, and they're also going to double your first deposit up to $100. So at sign up, basically, they will give you a random player that all he has to do is get a single yard. Usually it's a quarterback, sometimes it could be a running back or a receiver, but it'll be a random player to get 1 yard, and if it hits, you win. So they help you win some free money right out the gate, plus they give you the deposit match so that you have free money to play with. For tonight's Thursday night football game, they're giving you Matthew Stafford to get a single yard, and for this Sunday's games, it'll be Jordan Love. For Monday Night Football, it's going to be Brock Purdy, and on Christmas Day, they also have a LeBron special as well that's for all users on the site. So a bunch of Underdog specials, and no matter when you sign up, you'll always get a free play just like this. Remember, sign up using code RAY to get the free plays and get the $100 deposit match. You just can't beat it. Now, earlier on in the month, he was talking with people on Twitter as well, and somebody said, is the game actually on track? It's almost impossible to believe without a trailer or an ounce of new info from EA. And Matt Brown said, I don't mean to be rude, but I do not know how many times I can report that the answer is yes, or that EA will say this on record before people will believe it. If I hear that will change, I promise I'll let everybody know, but it's on schedule. This is how sports games are. And once again, this is kind of where a lot of people seem to be at right now. They feel like either the game's not really coming out or it's not on schedule because EA has not talked about it enough. But Matt Brown has reported for the last few months now that the game is on track according to the people he's talked to at EA. But EA themselves have even spoken briefly a couple of times, just as recent as a few weeks ago when the Brander Group dropped the lawsuit, the NIL related lawsuit against EA, and EA themselves said the game is still on track and they're doing really good right now and everything looks like it's ready to go for the summer. So for the people that still keep thinking it's not coming out this summer because we haven't seen enough from EA, well, ask yourself as it pertains to any sports game, not just from EA, but 2K or MLB The Show, you don't find out stuff about the game 6 to 7 months before the game comes out. Certain things may leak at times, we may find out some things that way, but the official news from the company usually doesn't start coming out until about 2 months before the game is released. So that's just normal that we haven't heard a whole lot about the game yet. Now, Matt Brown also dropped some more leaks recently as well around uniforms and things of that nature. He said, according to multiple email threads I've inspected, EA has asked for helmet and uniform assets in 4 categories. And he said, I haven't seen specific uniform designs for a ton of schools, but every school I have seen has submitted more than 2 uniform combinations. And this is basically what EA is asking for as it relates to uniforms. They're asking for things in different tiers. Tier 1 are the must-have uniforms, right? So home away may be the most popular, like alternate jersey and things like that, or like a special jersey that a team wears at a certain time every year. Then you've got your tier 2, which are rotational pieces or alternate helmets that are considered a very high priority, right? So this might not be something that you wear, multiple times a year, but it might be a special helmet that you pull out for one game. That's tier 2 and considered still important. Then they have tier 3, which mostly includes throwbacks, one-offs, alternate helmets, and they said that they will try to include as many of those as possible. Tier 4, they likely won't include on release date, but could consider including in future DLC, which would be anything outside of the major things that they submitted. So the way that I kind of look at this is that the tier 1 uniforms, the must-haves, those are obviously going to be in the game. The tier 2 rotational pieces and alternate helmets, those are going to be in the game. So like for a team like Oregon, you're going to probably see, a bunch of different uniform combinations. Tier 3 is going to be throwbacks, one-offs, and some more alternate helmets. Most of those will probably be in the game, or a good bit of those will be in the game, but probably not every single one for every single school. And then outside of that, anything else that's even, more obscure that maybe a school might have worn once or twice in their history, but it's in their, catalog somewhere, those will probably be things that will be included in DLC later on. And with college football game, we already know there's going to be DLC. They've already spoken on that. As long as it's good DLC, I don't think people care. Obviously, Ultimate Team is going to be its whole separate thing, but you're probably still going to get some pretty cool DLC for the regular game as well. Matt Brown then went on to say, the level of detail with the uniforms extends beyond what I originally thought. I've seen emails of EA asking for specific patch designs and locations for captain patches, bowl patches, updates to collar designs and stitching. The uniform data is really deep in the weeds. The other tiny update, EA has also asked for shots of campus icons, crowds, historical images that could potentially be used as backgrounds for loading screens. And the example he used was, if Ohio State was your favorite team, you would have a specific Ohio State loading screen that would have, different shots of maybe, crowd shots, stadium shots, historical images and things like that. And we did see previously when he showed some of the emails that he had received that were sent to EA, that we did see some of those shots of actual historical fans of certain teams. So they may be putting some of those fans either in the game, like in the actual crowd, or at the very least, they're going to use those for loading screens, which is something we saw with old NCAA games. We saw it even with some older Madden games at times where whatever your favorite team that you would pick when you start up the game, your loading screen would cycle through different images of the team's players, famous people in the crowds, and just different shots of the stadium and things like that. So that's all pretty cool. It's all the little packaging and the little details that really make game special. So, everything we've heard as it pertains to this game in EA are details, presentation details, commentary, crowd chants, crowd songs, uniform details, crowd details. And, this is just something we're not really that used to with Madden. Like, Madden has gotten a little bit better over the years. They finally started to put a little more effort into some of these things, but nothing close to what we're hearing from the college game. And I think one of the main differences is, number one, this game having been gone for so long, they know that they have to make a huge impact when they bring it back, but also just the fact that they've had about 4 years to work on the game. It really allows them to not release the game until it's 100% ready and really nail out every detail. Whereas with Madden and that relationship they have with the NFL, they have to have a game out every single year. The NFL wants a game out every single year. Hey, I'm pretty sure EA wants a game out every single year so they can make money as well. But when you have to keep putting a game out every single year, sometimes at certain points when you're fixing problems you have with the game, it takes time and money away from being able to go and do some of the cooler details. Whereas with a game like this that hasn't been out in so long, they can put it out exactly when it's ready because it's already been gone. People will wait another year for the game if it means getting all the details and everything right. And that's why it didn't come out last year or really earlier this year and is instead coming out in 2024. Now, we also got a pretty big leak recently as it pertains to the upcoming Madden game, and you definitely want to check that video out right here on the screen.